High School Slumber Party is brought to you by the Cage Club Podcast Network. For all things Cage Club related, head on over to cageclub.me. That's cageclub.me.
School is out and it's Friday night. I'm all wrapped up and I feel alright. Palo Alto, Malibu. This is all we wanna do. I'm at the high school, baby, young. I'm at the high school, baby, young. I'm at the high school, baby, young. I'm at the high school. I'm at the high school. I'm at the high school.
Welcome, stoners, fans of hip-hop. How about you people who are just bored on Netflix? I don't know. This is High School Slumber Party, the podcast where me and some friends look back at our teenage years through the lens of some iconic high school-centric films. I'm Brian Rodriguez, and the party's at my place this evening. But first, school's still in session, and we have some homework to chat about.
This was your assignment, and I would like to see the results.
This is episode 201, which means Monday's episode is episode 200. And of course, because of COVID, shout out to our healthcare heroes, we couldn't have a big blowout like we wanted to. I wanted to, do something at a brewery or out anywhere like we did for episode number 100. However, just wasn't in the cards. We're almost at the end of the tunnel, I feel like. Or we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, rather. Crossing our fingers, of course. But we just weren't ready, so I did something a little bit more intimate. The Foodie Films man himself, Kyle Reinfried. I don't know why I said it like that, but Kyle Reinfried was here. He interviewed me, actually. Some people say I don't go behind the scenes enough of my own life, so I hope episode 200 was a little peek more into me rather than the usual guests I have. We didn't talk about a movie. We talked about some movies, but Kyle just asked me questions. He's one of my oldest friends, and, I just answered. So check that out. That was your homework, to listen to episode 200 and celebrate with us. But today is episode 201. I would never have had this movie as episode 200, FYI. This is a fun one. This is an interesting one. Today we're talking about Mac and Devin go to high school. And who else is here? Cousin Pumpkin, of course. So before any of that, I hope you did your homework. I hope you watched the movie. It was on Netflix. And I hope, as always, every week you do your other homework, or you did your other homework, rather. That's subscribing wherever you're listening right now. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Of course, another thing I wanted to add, cageclub.me. That's the flagship. That's the home of all the great High School Slumber Party things, but all great pop culture podcasts. Check it out there. A lot of good things happening. I feel like April, May, June is awesome podcast season. The creative juices are flowing, at least here in the United States. Spring has sprung, and people, I don't know, they start to get a different mindset, Whoa, whoa, whoa. The bell doesn't dismiss you. Sit down. I dismiss you. I know you're excited for us to talk about Mac and Devin go to high school, but we just can't do it yet. I want to give you a warning first about the episode. This is not for the kids, this episode. This is an adult-oriented film. It deals with a lot of cannabis use. There is a lot of misogyny, not from me, I hope not from Cousin Pumpkin, I hope not, but in the film. If you've seen the film, if you did your homework, you see that as well. We are two cousins, we're having a good time, we're talking about the film. Also, I don't want you to get the opposite idea. I'm not a narc, I'm not hating on this film either. It is an adventure though, so I'm just warning you, put the kids to bed and have a listen. The one thing I'll say great about the film is the soundtrack. So let's open up with one of the songs on the soundtrack, right? Pack your favorite jammies. Tell your mother you're sleeping at Brian's, because we're about to get our party on. And we got to do it. We got to do it with that theme. Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, the stars of today's film. The song is young and wild and free.
Is this thing on? Word.
So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun. We don't care who sees.
Oh, shit.
So what, we go out.
Let me get a lighter.
That's how it's supposed to be.
'Cause you know I'm high as fuck.
Living young and wild and free.
So what? I keep them rolled up, sagging my pants, not caring what I show. Keep it real with my niggas, keep it playing for these hoes. It look clean, don't it? Washed it the other day, watch how you lean on it. Eat me some 501 jeans on it, roll joints bigger than King Kong's fingers, and smoke them hoes down to they stingers. You a class clown, and if I skip for the damn with your bitch smoking gray.
You know what? It's like I'm 17 again, peach fuzz on my face. Looking on the case, trying to find a hella taste. Oh my God, I'm on the chase. Chevy, it's getting kinda heavy. Irrelevant, selling it, dipping away. Time keeps slipping away. Zipping the safe, flipping for pay. Tipping like I'm dripping in paint.
Cousin Pumpkin, welcome, and I have a question for you. What did you just make me watch? One of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, and probably the movie I've least related to in my life.
I definitely felt that when I was watching that, especially about you. But I totally forgot how crazy it was. I definitely watched this like a long time ago, though, probably when it came out.
Look, on High School Slumber Party, we're going to talk about every high school movie we can. So it's not a movie I would skip, and I'm glad I saw it because, well, I didn't really... Well, I'll tell you my history with it in a second, but today we're talking about Mac and Devin Go to High School. This was one of the most bizarre movies I've ever seen. Thankfully, one of the shortest movies I've ever seen, and wow, I want to dive right in, but why don't you, Cousin Pumpkin, introduce yourself once again to the High School Slumber Party faithful.
I always forget how to do this, but yeah, it's Cousin Pumpkin here. You know, Manchester High, class of 11, go Hawks, always and forever.
High might be the key word for this movie.
Yeah.
Cousin Pumpkin, you've been on a bunch now for some really, really kid movies, but you've also been on for the movie Kids.
Yeah.
So you've really been on for the whole spectrum, from a goofy movie to kids. This one is more, I would say, adult content, but it's not as, like, Kids was, like, fucked up. I wouldn't call this movie fucked up.
Yeah, no,
This is just silly, incoherent at times, interesting. Basically, this is a movie where Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg are in high school, as simple as that.
Yeah.
Hijinks ensue. So I'll ask, why'd you pick this movie? Why this movie?
I don't know why it popped up in my mind, but I was just like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this movie, and this would be, like, a funny, cool, like... You know, it's a whole high school movie. It's hard for me to think of high school movies sometimes. This one just came up.
And this movie is something I didn't really know existed, but I tangentially have heard of it because obviously I know the music from the movie. It came out with an album soundtrack, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And whenever you play it on Alexa, you might have played it at your apartment. Maybe it's been played at my apartment, but the picture comes up like Mac and Devin Go to High School in the background.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just like the name of their album. I didn't realize it was a movie itself.
Well, I'm pretty sure, like, this whole movie was, like, made, you know, for this album. To sell this album and stuff. But, I mean, you probably definitely heard it at my apartment because I listened to Wiz Khalifa. I went to high school when, you know, like Black and Yellow came out. And obviously I'm a big Mac Miller fan if you guys listen to any shows that I've been on.
The Kids episode for sure.
And Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa, both from Pittsburgh, same high school. Yeah, so I've always listened to Wiz. I like Wiz. He always brings me back to those days.
Yeah, so like Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, they're a big part of your formative years. Like, I'm not shocked why you picked this movie or why you know this movie. I guess, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. And you warned me a little bit, but you even said, I don't think you even know what to expect at that point.
I didn't. I honestly, like, don't remember, like, much of the movie before.
Which is not shocking. I think most people who watch it don't remember much of the movie.
No, like, before I watched it again, you know, now. But, yeah, I definitely didn't remember it being that crazy.
I think mainstream America probably knows the hit song from the movie. What is it? And you're young and wild and free.
Yeah, of course. That's a great song.
It was a song that, like, you know, was played on the radio. Yeah. It's not just, this is not like an underground hit or anything. Mm-mm. And I think you're absolutely right. When I watched this movie, I justified it by saying, look, I love Prince's Purple Rain. I love musician movies. This movie definitely was probably, they were probably high, talking about collaborating. Yeah. Let's be honest. They're like, yo, not just an album. Let's just make a movie. Let's do it. Why not? Why not? You know?
Honestly, like, after watching it out, you should have did this on, like, 420. Because this is it's literally what they tell you right in the beginning of this movie. This is a weed movie.
Well, maybe we'll save it for that. We're just recording it now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is 420 a Friday?
I don't know. But it's definitely, a weed movie. That takes place in high school.
So, guys, if you hear this episode and it was released in April, you know why we did it that way. We'll just put it that way. We're recording in March, but April might be where it's at for this one.
So it is a Friday?
23rd is a Friday, so it might be that.
Yeah,
it's close enough. We'll see. It's a Tuesday, but whatever. Regardless. Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's say we'll still record it right now. We're not going to leave the podcast, but let's save this one for
There you
April.
go. I'm even producing the podcast now.
Good idea, because oh my God, this movie is... I'm not a weed guy. I'm not really in that culture. The movie literally opens up with like a CGI animated joint saying like, oh, if you watch this movie, you should be high, essentially.
My name is Slow Burn, and I am your movie guide. We will be watching Mac and Devin Go to High School, starring Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa. But before we get started with the picture, I would like to make sure everyone is comfortable and properly prepared. We all know the regular routine. Go to the bathroom, turn off your annoying-ass cell phone, get a big-ass popcorn, and a cup of ice-cold carbonated sugar water. Bam! Wrong. You missing one key ingredient, nigga. How you gonna watch a motherfucking weed movie without no motherfucking weed? Get your papers, your bones, your bowls, your blunts, some fat-ass nugs of that good, and spark that shit up. Now, if you're unfortunate right now and don't have any weed, I'm sorry. But please, stop this movie right now. It just won't work. You can't watch this shit without no weed. Stop. You don't play baseball without no bat, do you? Exactly. For the same reason you don't watch a 3D movie without 3D glasses. So go figure that out, then put your goddamn ganja goggles on and get ready for liftoff. Thank you kindly, and without further ado, I would like to present Matt and Devin Go to High School. Hold on. For all of you that like to play those movie weed games, like smoke every time so-and-so character says this or does that, here's the official weed game for this movie. Take a hit every time you see a character on screen either walking, talking, or breathing. Matter of fact, let's do one together right now. Yeah, what the fuck I'm talking about. What you waiting on, man? Start the movie.
He says, like, you wouldn't watch a 3D movie without 3D glasses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
Slow Burn. His name is Slow Burn.
And I'm like, oh, I'm in for it. And I'm like, maybe, because I'll be honest with you, you know I really don't smoke weed. You know that, like, that's not my thing. But I'm a tolerant person, obviously. And there are stoner comedies I really love or really get into, and stoner characters. Spicoli here in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I love Dazed and Confused.
About like Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express, great movie.
That's a good stoner movie.
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I love Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like there are stoner movies that you don't need to necessarily smoke weed to enjoy. This is not one of them.
Yes. Listen, like we discussed before we did this, because I didn't, I just threw this movie out there, and then after I thought about it, I was like, well, I'm going to have to talk about, like, smoking weed on this. But, yeah, no, definitely. I immediately took to those instructions when they came up. I was like, I'm going to listen to Mr. Slowburn. And within, like, not even 15, maybe 10 minutes into it, I was like, this was definitely the right choice. Because that must have been, that could have been a long hour and, 15 minutes for you.
Yeah, so if you guys sense a little bit of a confusion and I don't want to say, not anger, but like a sense in my tone, it's because I did not take Mr. Slowburn's instructions. When he said that, it didn't click with me like, okay, I thought it was more for comedy, but I think it was for actuality.
Well, you've never smoked weed.
It's not something that I do,
No, that's fine. But that's what I'm saying. But, like, I feel like if you have in your past, then you could understand it a little bit.
I still think that, if you were like I do this here or there, I do it at parties, I still don't think that you would enjoy this as much as someone who, it's a lifestyle. This is a weed lifestyle movie.
No, but I also think, even if you are like that and you watch this and you're not high, I don't think you're going to think it's a good movie. I think you have to be high to enjoy this movie.
Okay. So I was going to ask you. So, literally, it's not just let's say you had someone who smoked weed.
No, you'll get some of the jokes more, and stuff like that if you know the lingo.
So let's say
the stuff. But...
So let's say you had someone who smoked weed for 30 years and they gave up for whatever reason. They're not doing that. They're living a sober lifestyle.
Even if they didn't give up, let's say they just didn't smoke weed that day and they just, happened upon this movie and just watch this movie, you're not going to enjoy this movie.
So you think it's like Mr. Slowburn says?
I think, yes, take Mr. Slowburn literally.
It's that necessary. Well, that makes a lot more sense then.
Yeah. I think so. Because I don't think I would have enjoyed it if I wasn't. Did you actually laugh at all throughout this movie?
Not much.
See, I laughed, through a lot of it.
Again, to be clear, I wasn't disgusted. No. I get it. They're obviously not taking themselves seriously.
Yeah.
But this...
It's just so much ridiculous stuff happening.
I felt like I got a contact high from watching the movie. If you even watch the credits, which we'll get into, it's very clear that every aspect of this movie is weed.
Yeah. Did you see how much they spent on this movie?
No, what was...
Look it up.
Let me see.
Look it up right now. You should be able to take a guess right now.
Can't be a lot. Well, I don't know. The weed
take
budget must have been a lot. Let me see. Mac and... I don't know. I can't take a guess.
You want me to just say it?
Just say it if you know.
$420,000.
Oh my God. I wasn't thinking
That's
that.
how much this movie is about weed.
That's a bullshit number. They just wrote that down. And
I think it was...
I agree
found
with
it
you.
right away.
But
obviously, maybe they spent a little bit more.
They probably did because...
But that's probably, what's written down in the books.
Exactly, which is hilarious.
And in the credits, they were so fucking high.
Oh my God. We'll talk about the credits. I want to talk about the credits. So on paper, I don't want to completely diss this movie because on paper, what this is one of the OG greatest hip-hop artists of all time collaborating on an album / movie with one of the new, kings of the industry.
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
So, it came out in, 2014?
2012, technically.
The movie came out in 2012?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then definitely. Because I was 2014. I don't know where I saw that, but I was that's a little bit later. Because, I graduated in 2011, and I feel like that's when Wiz Khalifa really was taking off. And, took off. That's when he was everybody knew who Wiz Khalifa was.
And Snoop says in the credits, listen, my oldest son came to me and says, I've been listening to this guy. You need to check him out because he's really great. And that's how he got on Snoop's radar. But look, Snoop is not someone who is particularly selective about who he collaborates with. Let's be honest.
No.
He's collaborated with... He had a show at Martha Stewart, for God's sakes.
Yeah, he's about making that money.
Exactly.
But he doesn't talk at, I feel like, at least what they show in the credits, and obviously they're trying to sell this thing, he talks very highly of them. He says they speak the same mind, almost.
For sure. If you watch that credit scene, it's not just I collaborated because it was fun. It didn't seem like Snoop Dogg was wrestling the other day, you know what I mean? To promote a show. Snoop Dogg's like a judge on Game Show Here, host of this, that.
You gotta respect it, though. Snoop's
he hustles.
He's still in the game.
He's very relevant. But he, like you said, the almighty dollar guide Snoop Dogg. The way he's talking to Wiz Khalifa wasn't like that.
Yeah, no.
There was no tongue-in-cheek to it,
I think there's a genuine thing there. Also, I'm no music expert at all, but I feel the way Wiz raps, just the way he sounds, kind of somewhat just reminds me of Snoop a little bit. I mean, they're different. Don't get me wrong, but
Snoop's definitely one of his godfathers.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for sure.
Snoop cracks me up too, though, because even in this movie, he's always talking about pimping and this and that, but this man is wifed up and has a whole family and shit.
He's hilarious, Snoop.
I love Snoop.
He's cultivated this character, and it's not...
Shouldn't we be calling him Snoop? Isn't he Snoop Lion?
Well, we didn't say Snoop Dogg. We just said Snoop.
Lion.
But he was Snoop Dogg at this time. Maybe he's Snoop Lion now. I don't know what he is. I think he's just Snoop.
When he went through his Rasta phase.
So, let me read the back of the DVD, because... Do you remember the first time you saw this movie? Or how? Or
No. But It had to be, around when it came out because, like, all my friends were into Mac Miller because of my one friend, Mark, whose family was from Pittsburgh.
Oh.
So he was always into Wiz Khalifa, too. So I knew about both of them early on.
Wow, that was your connection? Wow.
Yeah. So probably through him at some point. It was probably at Chunk's mom's house where we all used to hang out.
Sounds about right. Because this movie, it wasn't released in the theaters. It was straight to DVD.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that.
And now it's streaming on Netflix, so it's really easy to access.
But how old is it on Netflix?
I don't know.
Can you find out that? Because that's probably when I saw it or something. I don't think we ever rented it on DVD or anything like that.
I don't know, but I feel like it's been on there a while. Maybe not, but it's been somewhere, right? Here's the back of the DVD, though, the original DVD. Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa get their higher education on. Valedictorian hopeful Devin Overstreet struggles to pen his graduation speech when it becomes clear that all his academic overachievements left him with little to no life experiences. He finds an unlikely inspiration in Mac Johnson, the least achieving student on campus. Mac is a 15-year senior, and the consummate ladies' man is smitten by the school's new substitute chemistry teacher. He soon realizes that the only way he'll truly have a chance with her is if he finally graduates high school. In 3 weeks' time, Mac must cram 4 years of high school academics, and Devin must cram 4 years of teenage experience. Now, with help of their shady math teacher, a demented classmate, new tattoos, sexy strippers, and some trippy animation, can Mac and Devin keep it up young, wild, and free? You know what, though? Like, this is and I mentioned Purple Rain before. Also, if you watch, like, the full video for Michael Jackson's Bad, this comes from a long line of music-first movies.
Yeah.
And while it's not a full-blown musical, we don't get, like, every song off that album acted out. We have 2 significant breaks of just music.
Yeah, pretty much. And, like, I should have. This is bad probably to say, but I should take the time out to look up the actual music videos. They pretty much, I feel like, put the music videos in there.
2 at least.
Yeah.
The one that's like talent show.
Yeah, especially at the end.
And then, Young and Wild and Free. You know what? Did this movie, like, connect with me? No. I have not, in my head, stopped hearing Young
It's
and
a great
Wild
song.
and
I was
Free.
going to say the soundtrack to the whole movie was good.
It's a banger.
They tied in there a little bit, when he's, like, high in the hallway and he's talking to Snoop. He's like, you hear that beat in my head?
See, this happens a lot, actually, for musician movies. Even, I think of Neil Diamond.
Moonwalker. I only know that because of my brother Andrew, but I don't remember anything from Moonwalker with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson did this all the time. I was going to say Neil Diamond did a movie called The Jazz Singer, which was terrible. But the album, #1 album, like 4 or 5 hits. Sometimes it's like, it doesn't matter, it's just like a tool to sell the music. Yeah. And if you're having fun, whatever.
Yeah, The Weeknd just kind of tried to do that with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have preferred this. I would have preferred like a Weeknd movie.
Honestly, this
about
probably would have been better. Yeah. You probably would have been better at this.
So production notes. There's not a lot of background on this movie. Just from like their interviews and stuff. We mentioned that Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa got on each other's radar. And they kind of, like what you said, had that idea, we're going to do an album together. No, let's do a movie with it too. Because the album is called Mac and Devin Go to High School, their collaboration album. It's the same thing. It's the soundtrack to this. But really, it's this album. And this album and the song was a huge, huge success. Young and Wild and Free, like, again, it was played on every radio station. It did super well. And I think the legacy of this movie will probably be more that song in 20, 30 years than this. Because I don't know anyone who's seen this movie.
Yeah, but you know what? They kind of, I mean, in, like, jokingly ways, they talk about, like, I want to say weed movements, but they definitely, like, they're like, if you don't like weed, get the fuck out of here. Like, all these smart people do it. Like, they definitely try to point out, that all these different type of people smoke weed, and it doesn't matter where you come from. Everybody smokes weed. I think is like the general census of this movie.
Yes, but this is definitely very much pro-weed propaganda. You can't deny that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like an anti-weed movie would be as ridiculous. You have a joint
narrating the entire movie.
Everything seems rosy after watching this movie. Like, you're like, oh, shit, yeah.
But they show the bad parts, too. They show this guy who's been... The main Snoop Dogg's the main character, and he's been in high school for 15 years.
Yeah, he's macking out girls. He's the most popular guy there, okay? Oh, he's really in bad shape. No, this guy's like rules the school.
Yeah, you want to rule the school? 15. You want to be macking on?
I'm not saying I want to, but maybe this character
life.
does. His name is Mac, right?
Yeah, his name is Mac.
So there you go.
Yeah.
The one other big news article about this movie in terms of the production was that they got permission from a couple high schools to shoot there, specifically Miracosta High School in Manhattan Beach, California. That's where most of the movie was shot. And 2 days into filming, they were asked to leave because just
too much weed.
There too much smoking marijuana on campus. They apparently agreed not to do that, and that was all this movie. You see again in the outtakes. This isn't a fake weed. Like they're not smoking herbal cigarettes in here. This not like a clove cigarette.
Barely had his eyes open through that entire principal scene where where people think that he's like getting a blowjob from this girl, and he's just really showing her a big ass joint. Like he was high as hell the entire time.
Look, this movie was written high, like I said.
Yeah.
Probably directed high, acted high, produced high, edited high.
And should be watched high.
Look, it's an hour and 15-minute runtime. But if you count the outtakes and the little stuff at the end, take at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was standing up. I was like about to go hop in the shower, and then I was like standing up for a good 5 minutes, and then I sat down eventually.
The joint at the beginning, the computerized or whatever, the animated joint at the beginning.
He's my favorite.
Is long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the actual scenes in this movie can't be more than an hour.
I think the animated scenes might be my favorite. Oh, like the in-betweens and when they're explaining things.
It's funny because, again, I watched it sober as a judge. They would start to make points even there and then give up on them.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Oh, man. Okay, so we mentioned it. Snoop Dogg in this movie, he's a 15-year senior. Mac Johnson is his name. High schooler still. And then Wiz Khalifa, of course, plays Devin Overstreet. We'll talk about this character. It's so ridiculous. It's more ridiculous than Snoop's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm a nerd. Really, Wiz? Okay. And I love how the DVD says, these two people couldn't be more the opposite. I don't think so.
No, yeah. I mean, Wiz isn't a good actor.
It's the first time he's acted in everything ever, but he's just...
I mean, he's not awful, but...
It's high school play level.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
No, some people are great, like Madonna, when she, great. Prince, pretty good. There's people who just, step on the screen and are good actors.
Yeah.
He's not great.
No.
Snoop's acted before, so Snoop is a pretty good actor, but he usually plays himself anyway, but he knows how to do that and for it to be convincing. And like you said, he's got a family. He's a family man.
Yeah.
A lot of what he does is an act. I'm not saying he's fake, because he puts realness into it, but he's not really a pimp on the corner of...
You know what? He's been playing this character for how many years already? To whatever extent he plays it.
Mm-hmm.
He plays an extreme version of it on this, but it's all in the same spectrum of the same character. Yeah.
Mike Epps, who I really like, plays Mr. Armstrong, one of the teachers.
Yeah.
I like Mike Epps.
He might be an underrated character in this film.
I really like in the credits when he's talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, you're a 15-year senior." He's like, "That was me."
Oh yeah.
He was like, "I was there." He was like, "I was there for 2 extra years," and then when I was in class with my little brother, I was like, "Fuck this." He was like, "Fuck this," and he just dropped out. Then I'm like, "That's hilarious."
Yeah.
Mike Epps is just naturally funny. He's just naturally funny.
He is. It took me a minute to realize who it was, but yeah, no, he is definitely.
I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff. He's a good stand-up comedian, but he's also in The Hangover. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tierra Mary, sorry for mispronouncing her. She's credited as hot ass teacher, but even though she has a name in the movie, they credited her as hot ass teacher.
Well, I mean, we're still doing Pumpkin Baddies. She's definitely in the run.
Oh, I forgot about Pumpkin Baddies.
I mean, I think we only started it my last episode.
Let me write that
What
down.
was my last episode? Was that
Big Fat Liar?
Big Fat Liar.
Pumpkin Baddie of the week. Let's write that
with
down.
the shocking surprise, Frankie Muniz.
Frankie Muniz was your last Pumpkin Baddie of the week. I'm curious who's gonna get it here. We'll talk about that at the end.
But that was I guess I was kind of biased because I based that mainly off of what they look like now.
We'll see this one. We'll see.
And speaking of hip hop and bringing that back up, Amanda Bynes just dropped a song.
Oh my God, I forgot about this. I was gonna post it.
I think it was Diamond or something.
Guys, if I haven't posted the Amanda Bynes song on our social media, remind me, please. So Lou Nell, like a kind of famous old school comedian, plays Principal Cummings. Their names here. Principal Cummings you don't see a lot. It implies that Snoop's been having kind of an affair with her to not get expelled and keep his customer base.
The names are ridiculous. What's the assistant principal name?
God. Principal Skinflute?
Yeah, Skinflute.
So this guy, first, I'm sorry if you're out there, Derek D, he's credited as. Just Derek D.
Before you get too far in with just the Skinflute thing, did you catch it when like they first show his name and then they like pan back to it again? Like, just in case you didn't catch it. They're like, yeah. Skinflute.
They got it, like, just in case you don't realize you're right. So, Principal Skinflute, the actor's name is Derek T. He has 2 credits under his name. It doesn't seem like he acts a lot. He's just like a stereotypical white nerd character. I'm sorry, Derek T, if you're still working out there. No, I don't want to see too much, but...
They try to make him extra creepy, though.
Yeah, this was a crazy character. Oh, man. So, Principal Skinflute. Yep. Again, if you haven't watched this movie, just listen to the episode. You're already getting what we're talking about here. Okay. Paul Iacono plays Mahatma Chang Greenberg. This movie could not be made in 2020 or 2021. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, hell no.
The
feminist would be
racism,
out and about.
Sexism. There's a lot of bad shit in this movie.
The amount of bitches dropped in this movie might be on like record.
Not good. So Paul Iacono, he apparently is famous from an MTV show called The Hard Times of R.J. Berger, where he played R.J. Berger. I never watched the show. I'm not too familiar with him, but Jersey guy from Secaucus, New Jersey, represent. But he played a character called Mahatma Chang Greenberg, which was essentially a parody of the fact that Indians, Asians, and Jewish people are usually the valedictorians in people's schools. So he's competing against Wiz Khalifa.
I was like, I didn't even catch that.
So he's supposed to be like a combo of all
that. Yeah.
Kind of fucked up.
But they made him like Zuckerberg at the end because he like stole their idea.
Yeah, which I laughed at that. I did. Andy Milonakis.
Oh, yeah, I want to ask you if you realized that was him.
Yeah, of course. No one else looks like him. Of course, famous from the Andy Milonakis show. Bunch of other stuff.
No knees, right? Or what's his name?
Knees down.
Knees down.
So let's add the disabled community to the list here. The handicapped community.
See, I think it's funny because like they go after everybody here. You know, there's no bias. They kind of go after everybody here in this movie.
Yeah, but do you really need to go after people in wheelchairs? Did they do
anything? I don't know. Do you really need to go after the Asian community? Do you need to go after any of these communities?
No. So
I feel like if you go after one, everybody's on notice, you know?
I don't know.
I think they should be left alone. I think everyone should be able to get a little bit poked fun of at some points. And they're not even really making fun of, like, if anything, they're getting a little bit praised there.
For a 35-year-old person playing a disabled person.
I guess whatever, but his whole character, he's banging all these hot girls, and
he is. That's true.
His name is what was it again?
Knees down.
Knees down because he's only paralyzed knees down. So they're banging him because he has a big ass cock.
Yep.
We're gonna drop it here. Yeah, that's it.
You said it. If you guys think we're spending a lot of time on the cast, there's not a lot of scenes in this movie, so don't worry about it. You're not going to be in this for long. Mystical. Do you know who Mystical is?
Not off the name right now.
So Mystical plays the voice of Slow Burn. Have you heard?
Okay.
Have you heard that song? It's like shake that ass.
Oh,
watch yourself.
Yeah.
That's Mystical. Danger. Yeah.
Well,
great voice. Great voice.
Slow Burn's my favorite character in this movie. He's hilarious.
Right now's the place to be. That's Mystical. So I was happy to see him get a job here as the voice of Slow Burn. He's got a great voice, and Slow Burn is that animated joint we were talking about, who's narrating the story.
Who could probably be a very polarizing figure in this.
How so?
They stop like the whole movie when Devin's girlfriend comes.
And he's like,
she starts like complaining and like nagging him and everything.
And he's like, ladies, leave the room. Yeah. Ladies, leave the room. We need to talk about something. And I forgot what he says exactly, but it's something like complaining ass bitches, like, and I'm using quotes.
Bitches. Yeah.
And I don't feel this way, guys, so don't call me out about this. But he's talking about women who are complaining about their man. So, yes.
Yeah.
That happens here. Ooh, boy. Far East Movement plays the detention students. They were, I think, the first... I know it was a big moment when Far East Movement and Bruno Mars, who actually is featured on the Young, Wild, Free song, were, I think, 1 and 2 in the top of the charts. And the first time 2 Asian American groups or artists were 1 and 2 in the Billboard charts. Far East Movement, they had that song, what was it called? Like Popping Bottles in the Ice.
Oh, really?
Like a blizzard. That. Remember that song?
Oh, my God. Yeah. That's like teen nights. Back
like
in the day.
3-6. Like
Club,
a 3-6.
Ortley Beach. Pre-Sandy. R.I.P. Surf Club.
So they
never
really
came back.
They were, oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Surf Club. So they were really big
that
at the
was
time.
my parents' beach, by the way.
Ortley Beach?
Not well, the surf club too. Before
Oh.
it was like it turned into surf club at night. You know,
Oh,
you
I
could go
see.
and party there all day on the beach, and they brought you alcohol. Like servers came and would serve you like on the beach.
On the beach?
On the beach.
Wow!
Bro.
Shout out Jersey Shore.
So you could stay there from whenever you went in there till 2:00 in the morning.
You're a Jersey Shore kid in Jersey Shore's prime.
Yeah, always. I like to think I'm a mix. You know, I got New York in me, but I was born and raised at the shore, so I'll always be a Jersey Shore kid at heart.
Popping bottles in the ice. No, it's my head. So yeah, Far East Movement. They're just like there's a lot of cameos here, so it is what it is. Even like Snoop's one of his favorite pimps, Bishop Don Magic Juan.
He has a favorite pimp.
Oh, he used to like do shows with pimps in the background. He plays student service guy, you know.
Define pimp. What do you mean? Like, were these? They couldn't be.
That guy
real
was a real
pimps.
pimp. No, that guy was a real pimp. Yeah.
That's fucked up. No one's ever called Snoop out on this. Don't get me wrong. I love Snoop, but
You ever hear the Outkast song "Players Ball"? Great
Yes.
song, the first song. Little segue here. I learned this on Hip Hop Evolution. Have you seen Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix?
no.
One of the greatest shows you can watch. It just goes to the history of hip hop. There's some omissions there, but not a topic for today. But there's an episode on Outkast and like the Atlanta scene early on, and basically when they were coming up, their record label, like Babyface, LaFace Records, was like, we need you to make a Christmas song because we got a Christmas album that all our artists, and they're like, what the fuck, how are we going to make a Christmas song? So they made this song called Players Ball because, you know, every year across the country, there's like a big pimp convention called the Players Ball, and it takes place around Christmas.
What?
So they were like, let's just do this. It takes place on early December. I'm reading it now. So they're like, yeah, let's just make the song about the Players Ball. They're going to make us make a Christmas song, whatever.
I'm gonna sidetrack us because I need to know more about this now. Because I've never heard this before. These got to be like kind of good pimps then, if that's a thing.
What do you mean
No.
good pimps?
Because
Oh, like they're not like hitting people? Like,
well,
I don't
that
know. Look, I don't
and,
know.
Like giving these girls like almost being agents for these girls essentially instead of being a fucking pimp.
I don't know
what
the
I'm
pimp
saying?
lifestyle, but
'Cause I
apparently-
put it out there. Like I'm down for the sex workers and all of them, and like OnlyFans and those people. Like I think they deserve a place in this world and shouldn't be shunned for what they do and stuff. But like when you're talking about a pimp, I'm thinking, you know, this guy stealing all these girls' money.
You're
you know
giving
what I'm
pimps a
saying?
bad reputation. What if they're just there to be an agent and for protection?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Look, I don't know
You
enough
know?
about the pimp world. Any slumbers out there, if you are a pimp, let us know.
Where have we gone?
But there's just like I don't know, the Players Ball is a pimp convention. Anyway, that guy I was saying,
The Players Ball.
he was one of the founders of the Players Ball. He's like an old school official pimp. So
Can we start like a new podcast and do like pimp fantasy leagues and stuff? You know?
do you think that we're qualified for that?
I don't know. We might have to start doing some research.
I know
We might
1%
have
more
to go
about
to the
you.
Players Ball.
Maybe we'll go. Maybe we'll go to the Players Ball. I don't know. Regardless. Yeah, so like Snoop Dogg's pimp is in here. There's a rapper called Afton Crockett. He plays Captain Kush, which we see later in this.
How do you have a whole ass family and you have a pimp? You got like a main pimp. Oh yeah, it's my pimp,
I don't know.
Snoop. I need to know how he does all this.
You ever see Old School?
Yeah, of course.
So Snoop has that scene in
With
Old
Frank
School.
the Tank.
Frank the Tank. So this guy, Bishop Don Magic Juan, that's his name. He's in Old School as well. That's where like I first saw him, to be honest with you. When Snoop's singing at that backyard concert, he's the guy in the pimp costume. This is Snoop Dogg's pimp in the era. And that's when Will Ferrell's going streaking. He's like, we're going streaking. And then he points at him. He's like, bring your green hat. Let's go. Like, that's the same guy. So this was just Snoop Dogg.
But he's a real pimp.
Yes. I'll try to find a pimp expert for you to explain what pimpin' is?
I'm just gonna start diving into like the history of pimps and stuff now.
Pimpin'
You sent
ain't
me
easy.
down a loophole.
Rabbit hole, no, regardless.
Loophole, whatever.
Who else is big? Jasmine is played by Samantha Cole, another musician. Just a lot of musicians in this, you know. So remember they have these cutaways with people being like, "Yo, sell me your weed, man."
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of, cameos there. Tyga has a cameo there.
Okay, that's who I saw. I thought I saw someone who was like a newer rapper or something. Not that Tyga's new.
Another rapper called YG has a cameo there. What's hemptathlon? I don't know when this happens. Hemptathlon.
I don't know.
But Ty Dolla $ign and other rappers in there. Smoker Number One. They got a lot of hip hop cameos here. But whatever. Let's talk about the 6 scenes that take place in this movie.
The 6 scenes.
You mentioned the opening, right? It's literally mystical as Slow Burn saying, "You need to get high to watch this movie."
Yes.
He's like, "Oh, by the way, if you're one of those people who enjoys smoking game, take a hit every time you see someone." What is it? Every time you see someone walk, breathe.
Pretty much do anything.
Just take a hit every time you see a character on screen, walking, talking, or breathing.
I did take a hit with him, though, right after that when he said, "Everyone take a hit with me."
Are you creeped out by adult Snoop Dogg still in high school, like checking out and hitting on girls?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I get it. Like, it's whatever. It's just whatever fantasy world. But it's still just weird and creepy. But, I mean, at least, not to shoot one of your later questions, but, like, none of them look like they're in high school,
no.
Which helps.
Zero. I'm glad for this movie, but zero people look like they're in high school here. So what do you want to talk about in regards to scenes and moments in this movie? What was funny? What did you like? What did you dislike? Anything here that you really want to talk about?
Originally, I did dislike all the cutscenes of them, like, trying to buy weed off of Mac. But then, like, I feel like they slowly start going through, like, all the different progressions of people. Like, the teachers are buying weed. Like, literally everybody's buying weed. So then I was like, oh, I get what they're doing here. So eventually, like, it turned on me. I liked it better at the end. But that was annoying to me in the beginning. After, like, the third time, I'm like, damn, they're really going to do this the whole movie?
Again, we didn't mention that. But that's another thing that takes away from, like, the actual screen time of the movie.
Yeah.
They're cutting away to it a lot. Later, like, one of the teachers is like, "Oh, my students give me migraines. Can you sell it to me?"
Yeah. But I think they cut away a lot, but I like when they cut away sometimes, then they go back in, before they go back into it, they give you a little, like, preview of what was happening. Because if you listen to Mr. Slowburn over here and you're smoking weed and you're watching this movie, like, you're going to forget, especially the way they cut through different things. Like, they just jump from thing to thing to thing, and sometimes things don't necessarily connect.
Don't worry, it didn't connect for sober people as well.
So the helpful reminders were cool.
Basically, Mac is this 15-year-old senior, and Devin is Wiz Khalifa playing this, "Oh, I'm a nerdy, like, valedictorian guy. I'm so stressed, I can't do anything." And he has a girlfriend, and she's very like, "Oh, you have to get valedictorians so we can both go to Yale."
Like, super Christian, and like I don't know. I don't want to say stupid fake Christian because, like...
Well, yeah, she doesn't want
But yeah, like, she won't do any vaginal sex. She'll only do anal.
Yes, she doesn't want to give up her virginity. She's saving herself for marriage, but she was only willing to have anal sex. Big part of this movie. The whole thing felt like a music video because of the progression of this. Mac and Devin get paired in a chemistry class to be together. Like, "Oh, how are we going to do this?" Because he really needs this chemistry. If not, that Indian, Jewish, Asian character is going to be valedictorian, and he needs to get valedictorian to stay with his girlfriend. And
go to Yale, the 9.
And they both kind of come together and realize they can help each other. Even though that's what they say, that's not really the case. I'm not sure how Devin helped. I know how he helped him because he graduated, but it's not like Snoop took on any of Wiz Khalifa's lifestyle here. It was more just like, weed solves every problem in my life.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Including the project.
It's not like, this would be one of those 50-50 movies if it was more like, "Hey, so I think you're smoking a little too much weed, Snoop. You need to focus on your studies.
Yeah.
And you, Wiz or Devin, you need to smoke a little bit more so you're less stressed, and like we'll come into the middle and a happy medium. No, that wasn't this movie.
No. But I mean, they did show him like going over the edge with it. You know, losing his virginity to a stripper.
He benefited from it. There was no negative.
In the moment, it felt like a negative when he went to jail and all that. And he's like reflecting on it, and he's like, "Yo, fuck
he gets out for
Snoop."
free, yeah.
And yeah, he gets out of it, but he was pissed off until Snoop came back with key ingredient to solving the science project, which was weed.
Yes. But there's only one thing this movie says is a higher power than weed. Can you remember what it is?
A higher power than weed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And whatever. It's true, though. It's true.
I'm not affirming that, but what is it?
I'm not even going to say it, though.
Okay. So it says pussy. I'm using air quotes. Vagina.
That doesn't make it any. You said it. That's it.
I said, but I'm using air quotes.
Oh, that doesn't mean anything.
Because it's like, oh, you think weed is great? This is what really controls the world.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this
Pussy
movie
runs
is
the
so. Oh my god. So we have two really video cutaways here. I don't even know what to talk about because like I'm trying to think of the plot and it's just.
It's all over the. I mean, there is a plot.
Well, we'll put it this way: when they pair up, Devin's like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so stressed." And he's like, "Here, try some." First, he tricks him with like brownies. He's like, "Eat these brownies.
Yeah,
I got low blood sugar. Eat these brownies."
I want to do that to you so bad one day.
You know, that's your big thing because I am. If I see food on a table, I eat it.
If you smoked weed before in your life, I would do it to you. But the fact that you never have, I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't do that to me, please. I don't want you to do that. But so we have. We're not going to name names. We have someone we mutually know well, and I know he's done a lot of other shit. I don't think he's a big weed guy, but we both witnessed him have like an edible.
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
We both witnessed.
I thought you were going a different route with this one, but okay.
We both witnessed him have like an edible. I don't know if it was for the first time, but like one of the only times.
I'm still upset about that, by the way.
And he went a little bit crazy. He went a little bit like... But you know what? I think a lot of that was mental, too.
Yeah, but you know the person in question is always in question. Sober, not sober, doesn't matter. You're on drugs, not drugs.
He was like, no, give me more!
No.
Regardless, when the Wiz Khalifa character takes the edible, he kind of like, oh, you know, he joins this journey. He's like, that was great. That was just what I needed. But it's just so funny that, like, it takes, 10 minutes to turn Devin into literally Wiz Khalifa?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get a tattoo. And he gets tattoos all over his body like Wiz.
You want to talk about scenes? I hated that scene. The whole, like, to me, all they needed to do was him walking into the tattoo shop and coming out. Like, I hated the whole fake animated drawing of all his tattoos. I don't give a shit what tattoos he has on his body.
But it was very music video. Like, you know,
Yeah,
tattoos are important to me. Let me show them in this video.
Well, then, they could have did it in a better way. But I guess when you're keeping things on 420 budget.
If they cut that out, this movie would be not long enough to be like a whole release.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. You know?
The fact that he just literally becomes Wiz Khalifa and then 80% of this movie after this is just Wiz and Snoop hanging out and getting high.
Totally different character from Devin. Transforms in a day.
They break the entire movie to do that talent show song, and it's like a whole music video for the song Talent Show.
They never even like, this is such like a weed things, right? Like never even like addresses the talent show or anything.
No, it's not like there's a talent show at school.
Never talks about it beforehand or after. Just boop, drops in this into
no, because they're like, oh yeah, give
show.
me a beat, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then boom.
That's it. Just random talent show. There you go.
Then they're back.
But this is what I'm saying. You have to be high to.
Yeah, because like I think one of the scenes later is the scene you're talking about losing your virginity with like a stereotypical Asian character, like, oh, come in for a massage.
Yeah.
There's a sexy lady and he loses her virginity.
And Snoop being that like one of those typical guys, like, oh, I love pussy, but I don't pay for pussy.
Yeah,
you know,
literally what he says.
Yeah.
Quoting. then he, so there's a sex scene, and then he comes out of the club. He's like, "This is the first time I've had vaginal sex."
But going back to making fun of the racists, they make fun of white people there.
They make fun of white people a lot in this movie. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the assistant principal.
It's a majority black movie. I would say 90% of the characters are black. You know.
There's also, we didn't mention, a substitute teacher who Snoop is flirting with, and that's the reason he wants to graduate. And she's very much like, "I'm
Miss
confiscating
Ward,
your weed."
I think Mrs. Ward. I think that was her name.
"I'm confiscating your weed, but if you graduate, I'll date you. I don't date students." It's like so over the top.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All of it's over the top. It's definitely like, I hope I don't mean to sound like say this in a bad way, but like most of the female actors in this feel very like rap video females.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're mostly musicians too, or not. Or
yes.
Or even the background characters are music video girls.
Yeah.
They're very curvy. We'll put it that way. That's not a criticism, obviously, but it feels like it's a music video. This whole thing feels like a long music video.
90s hip hop music video.
Oh man. What other scenes or moments you want to talk about in this movie? We have a little supposed to be an education lesson that kind of gives up halfway about like sativas, indicas.
I mean, you probably got a real education today.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it kind of gives up halfway through that. Like it just kind of stops.
I think it gives a good like brief description of everything. I don't know all that stuff either.
Yeah, so it breaks away into kind of an animated sequence. We also see a Captain Kush thing. Do you remember that?
Captain Kush.
It's like a guy in like the weed leaf suit.
Oh yeah, I liked him. He was funny too. Yeah, I liked all the like the shorts and stuff. But I mean, they're not wrong either with like the sativa indicas, and even when they talk about the edibles and stuff, I think they exaggerate a lot of the stuff sometimes.
Oh, so is it an exaggeration when it says that like Bin Laden was caught because he got that Kush?
Yeah,
he decided to.
But I mean, even I'm talking about like the way that they describe it, like how it makes you feel and stuff like that.
I really feel like every music video is propaganda, right? Because you're supporting your music. Obviously, this is going to be pro-weed propaganda, but I definitely feel like there was some kind of backing to that here because, like, the way they're explaining it was very much like, does Snoop have his own weed company? Because I feel like he should.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure when they drop both their weed things, those are
like
real
rolling
things.
Papers.
Yes,
okay.
They both have like rolling paper.
It also felt like a commercial for that because, like,
yeah, they both definitely threw their plugs in there.
Look, no one who's on the fence about weed is probably watching this movie. But if they were, and you watch it, like, well, it doesn't seem that bad. You get a lot of girls, and, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, there's some strains that do this, some strains that... Again, I'm not expecting this to be down the middle at all.
I come from the mindset, I think like 50% of this country smokes weed at minimum.
I would say more, for sure.
And I would say...
Well, at least it feels like it, right? I don't know if it's more.
Like, 70% of the people don't give a fuck.
Yes, but I don't think... I'll put it this way. Imagine this was a movie. I love beer. I love craft beer.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine this was a movie about beer. You think I would be into it this much? You think I'd be like, oh, yeah, you know, these are different varieties of beer. I would think it was stupid.
No, but that's what I was saying from, like, that, like, I don't think, like, this is a movie that if you just like weed and you go and watch it, that you're necessarily going to enjoy it. No, I think you actually have to be high to enjoy this movie.
I think if you showed this movie to a lot of people in the states that are voting for like legal weed and they weren't smoking, I think you might lose in some states. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might definitely.
Show this in Jersey. Hey, if you were like an anti like legal weed in Jersey person, all you had to do is just like run this on every channel or something, and people would be like, "Oh, so this is the weed culture, okay."
I feel like maybe you could get away with that in, like, I don't know if you get away with that in Jersey, but I think maybe
Oregon.
Jersey just legalized weed, all right?
Yeah, well, it might have been stopped with this movie.
No. Maybe, like, more stricter states.
No, you got to get those middle. What you need.
I think the middle people don't care.
Well, I'm saying...
I think the majority of people don't care.
I don't know.
I think just majority of people don't go out and vote. That's the problem.
Fair. But this made me question that legalization. This made me be like, maybe this isn't a good thing for this country.
Yeah, but they go a little far with a lot of things.
If this is the art,
not even just the weed stuff.
If this is the art that weed is going to produce, then I think we're going to have a lot of artistic problems going forward in this country.
No, I think this is a full statement of just the final song.
Look, the album's great. The music's great.
No, but what's the whole theme of that song? Live while, like, who gives a fuck we get drunk? Who gives a fuck we smoke weed? Who gives a fuck we make a movie about all this crazy shit?
We'll get there, but good song, not a good graduation speech. It literally has lyrics.
But I loved it. So I live my life young and wild and free. That's it.
You're going to be living your life at 40 and 50 with the same motto.
Hopefully. Young, wild, and free.
Oh, man. What else do we got to say about this movie? There wasn't much. So the end. Oh, so the big thing, I guess, the big plot thing to get to their, it sounds so obvious saying it, but to pass their class and get that A, they need a big chemistry assignment. And Wiz Khalifa says, we need to find alternative fuels.
Yeah.
Big goal, Jesus Christ. And he can't find out what the alternative fuel is. What should it be? None of these experiments are working. And then one day, literally this is what happened. One day, Snoop drops a little bit of weed into the science experiment that's not working.
Just ashing it.
Yeah. And he sees the light bulb. It goes off. Oh, shit. This whole time, weed was the power source for everything.
Not just weed, though. It was his, like, super master blend.
Then he makes a blend that's even, the greatest fuel in human history. I feel like this is like the stoner's dream,
And next up to present their final projects are Devin and Mac.
Actually, I'm going to be doing this one solo. Well, I've been trying to develop an alternative fuel from a mix of all natural substances, but the mix was highly volatile, and we couldn't find a catalyst to help stabilize the compound and supercharge the fuel.
I'm sorry, what was this magical catalyst?
Delta 9, tetrahydrocannabinol.
Isn't that the main chemical in
marijuana, motherfucker, also known as THC. Now what I did was I cross-pollinated genetically superior weed to create master weed with properties never before enjoyed by mankind. Now check this out.
Something that pisses me off about, like, the weed community, and again, I really don't care. What pisses me off is, like, legalize it because it cures this and it does that. Shut up. You want to legalize it because it's fun and it's something you do. Whatever. I don't care about that. If beer was illegal when it was, I wouldn't be like, beer cures these things. Beer
yes and no. Beer doesn't have any fucking real, like, health benefits.
No, of course not, but look.
I think, of course, people exaggerate things to an extent. So the majority, I think, of people don't need weed. They like it because they just like it.
And that's fine. And that's totally 120% fine, right? But this, to me, is like one of those exaggerations. Like, you see, we could power cars on it. This is... and again, I know there's more medical uses for weed than beer. I don't want to compare the two, especially if you're on a prescription, whatever. But let's not pretend that there's an alternative hemp fuel, which some people have said, like, the government's blocking it. It could really power all the cars. You know who says that? People who are high, okay? If that was the case, that would be great.
I don't know. I generally don't know. I trust you on this.
I'm not the expert, but I feel like it
well, I'm just like, hemp's a plant, but if you could run things on corn oil or stuff like that.
But we can't. We tried. Ethanol's not that successful. If it was, we'd have it. If we could run shit on corn, we would. We have more corn than anyone in the world,
It's just probably not sustainable.
But that's, to me, that's where the movie's a little bit redeemable, because I feel like they have to know, they have to be a little bit aware of that shit to say that.
I think they're just making fun of it.
Exactly. And that's, and my point really is not so much, fuck them for saying that or putting this education out there. Come on, you can't watch this movie with a serious lens. No. My thought is more like, you know what? They get it. Like, they have to be aware of how dumb this shit is.
Yeah.
To make this movie.
Of course, they're making fun of themselves.
And I think it's hilarious too when he drops, like, the nugget in, like, the the thing in the science class, Snoop, and it's just like, not only does it power the light bulb, but it has this like aura around it.
Oh, yeah.
Like they've like Nobel Prize right there.
How about when they have a smoke circle going on? Where it's like Andy Milonakis, when they have like the weed competition going on, and they start doing the animated shit. And they're blowing like what? Well, I forgot what the first one that was crazy was, but then Andy Milonakis blows a gun and they started shooting weed like smoke bullets and stuff.
Oh my god, it's just ridiculous.
That was a funny scene too.
So something I'll say about this movie that I feel like is a compliment. I think 2012, definitely too late for it to come out. I'm glad it didn't come out now because it would have been.
It wouldn't have came out.
No. But in the 80s, they made movies like this all the time. Like, not necessarily about weed, but like, let's see girls' boobs, let's drink a lot of beer, let's smoke a lot of weed, but like, not necessarily.
Even about drugs, though. Maybe not about weed, but they made movies with like LSD, acid, like.
And it was like, let's just have fun. Like, the movies weren't about being politically correct or moving the needle forward. These were about just having fun and just whatever you want to do. I don't know if that's right or wrong. But this isn't crazy. Like, they didn't invent the wheel here. They did something that was being done for decades, for years, you know? Think of, like, a movie like Animal House. It's just very hedonistic, very, like, this is what we like to do. Let's make fun of it while also showing what we enjoy. And it is what it is. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And these guys got money, if this is the way they want to promote their album. So I'm not against this project. I'm not like, this is a disgrace or whatever. It is just, like you said, completely ridiculous if you're just stone cold watching sober taking notes.
Yeah, no. Definitely not a fun experience.
Which is what I was doing.
And it's, like in today's climate, probably wouldn't go over well.
There's something about music, not just hip-hop. Hip-hop, yeah, but music where it's just kind of about, it's very visceral. It's about what you're feeling and what you're doing.
Yes. I think the majority would be fine, but I think, like, the way they go about females and the whole
that's the worst part.
Thing,
to be honest with you,
like that. I think that would be an issue.
The treatment of women in this movie is unforgivable and deplorable. It's like it's not great. That's not something that's going to go over well. Like I said, they were doing that shit in the 80s and 90s. That's not forgiveness, but this is one of the only movies of that era. Like even the 99 era of like American Pie. A lot of it's about that, but there's also a little intelligence in American Pie.
This is like very, I don't know, like 90s hip-hop to me.
Yeah, it's a little dated even when it came out.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely for when it came out.
But I'll say this. If you're on Netflix and you're scrolling, you see a movie that has Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg in high school together, you can't be expecting like an Academy Award-winning Oscar movie.
No.
You got to know what you're getting into here.
Yeah.
You got to know, So it is what it is. And they obviously weren't appealing to the Oscar group or even guys like me. They were appealing to people who like the music and like to smoke weed. Simple as that. And the song is perfect. And the song is a banger. The song is a great song.
And even going to the women thing, I think just like the use of the word, like that, bitch could be such an offensive word.
Today.
A derogatory word, just in general. But yeah, I think they're just like talking about annoying women really in general. But the way the way they do it is not great.
No, and there's no good, solid woman character in this. There's not a single shred.
No, you go from that to like banging a stripper, like
having sex with a stripper. There's the Asian stereotype lady. There's the principal who's just getting a pass because she wants to have sex with Snoop Dogg.
I'm pretty sure there's a whole cutscene about like Snoop Dogg keep going on things, but he's just staring at her boobs, like Miss Ward's boobs the entire time.
Yep, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So one of the big things we didn't mention is that Devin, Wiz Khalifa, when he has a science experiment, he actually officially becomes valedictorian, but the whole time it's expected he's going to be valedictorian, and he has to make a speech, and that's his big struggle. He can't come up with the speech that's really like corny stuff, and he gets the valedictorian thing, and on graduation, he's saying a speech, and it's not good because it hasn't been good, and then he just starts to say the lyrics to his song. It's like,
young, wild, and free.
As is the tradition here at Inhale High, we begin our commencement with a speech from our valedictorian, Devin Overstreet.
High school. It's the best of times It's the worst of times. It's...
I've asked him to
I wish I could do that.
You can, homie.
Well, actually, this is something a friend of mine taught me. And him, more than anybody I know, really loved high school. So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun. We don't care who sees. So what, we go out. That's how it's supposed to be. Living young and wild and free. D-Street, you rock!
Woo! I want your cock!
And when he starts saying, like, we jump into the music video, which then you realize, oh, that was the whole point of this entire thing. You know how in music videos they'll have like a 1 minute scene before it that explains it? This instead had like an hour before it to just like kind of show like, oh, this is what that means. Okay. And look, I'll say it for the 20th time in this episode. The song is great. The song is catchy. The song sticks in your head. The song is going to be a hit for years. And that's what this whole movie is about. Great song. And we kind of end there. But, as we mentioned, well, there's like a little coda where it tells us what all the characters are doing. Devin is in Yale. Mac got into some colleges. But
Devin's in Yale with, what was it, couldn't decide his major. It was like to either to smoke weed or something or get pussy.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Oh, God.
Movie's ridiculous.
Yep. Mac got into some, local colleges, but he's keeping his options open. What else? The principal's like, oh, so we didn't mention, but the vice principal likes to cut bonsai trees. That's his thing. And it's like, oh, he's planting some other trees these days or something like that. Oh, boy.
But I think this movie is totally about the whole, I think it's definitely a weed prop-up movie. And I think it's all about that final song.
100%. And that justifies it to me. If you see this as a movie, it's crap. If you see this as just like a long kind of art experimental way to introduce a music video and really get like the mode of what it's all about, then it has a little bit of merit to it. And then I appreciate it a little bit more.
But just even what that song's about, I think, that the whole young, wild, and free thing.
Yeah, it's like, whatever, I'm just living my life.
Yeah, like, that's it, we're freaking teenagers, we're kids, we're just out here partying, drinking, having a good time.
And we already mentioned the post-credits, which is just a lot of cutscenes, a lot of, like, there's one point where I actually was laughing at this, like, this first time, remember this was 9 years ago, but the first time Snoop hits a vaporizer. Did you see that part?
Yeah, I didn't know that was the first time he hit a vaporizer.
Yeah, because he was like, what is this? Oh, shit. He's like, I could taste the THC.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of newer technology at that point.
It's pretty popular now. But
it's very popular now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think when the first time I saw a vaporizer, though, was. I feel like it might have been around that time.
Well, they always had, like, not always, but for a while they had, like, devices, one with a bag and stuff. I don't know.
But no, I definitely didn't see it around. It was definitely later than that. Definitely later than 2011, 2012.
But, this is Hollywood, this is...
Oh, well, yeah. It must have been new at that time.
And there's one point where Snoop is saying in these outtakes, he's like, you don't need a script supervisor in this movie. We're just going to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, who cares about continuity? Is this something along those lines?
Yeah, the moment you see... They should have put that in the beginning of the movie, too. The moment you see that, yes, that's exactly...
You're like,
that's the best way to sum up this movie.
They really did not care. They just said what they wanted to say, did what they wanted to do. And again, it's just a tie-in and lead up to their music video.
Look, Snoop and Wiz probably financed most of this movie.
Yeah, with their $420,000.
Exactly.
If not, they got it from the record company.
Yeah.
At $420,000.
And they definitely did, because Rostam Records was on the beginning of the movie. Wiz isn't with them anymore, but they were Mac Miller was with them.
Oh, really?
And Wiz was with them. Yeah, in the beginning. They're not. They weren't anything before Mac Miller and Wiz. You know, they were like a little old mom and pop shop type of deal.
Oh, wow.
And they stood with them.
That's crazy.
Well, because Mac was all like YouTube fame and stuff and wanted to keep his own money. But that's a different story for another day.
Mac Miller comes up a lot here. Comes up a lot when you're on.
Yeah. But there's a connection there.
Of course.
But I mean, I think people overblow that connection a little bit. I don't think they were never like that cool or anything.
Well, someone who's been on the podcast before and on our podcast network, Joe too, he went to high school, like I've said, with Mac Miller.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And before Mac Miller transferred to Wiz Khalifa's high school, and he was a nerd that who people picked on, which is hilarious. But
I believe it.
He got the last laugh at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. He's dead now.
Well, no, not then. But like when he was alive, he was with like Ariana Grande.
I mean, some people talk about him in very high light in the music industry.
For sure.
Stuff,
For sure. All right. Anything else you wanted to mention about Mac and Devin Go to High School, or should we move on to our awards?
I feel like I'm definitely forgetting stuff, but
that's probably a symptom of
watching this movie
and the advice of slow burn.
Yes. I mean, slow burn's wrong about some stuff, but slow burn is not wrong about a lot of stuff.
All right, so most likely to succeed. Who won the movie? At the end of the movie, who comes out on top?
What do you mean? Like, you never asked me this question before.
New question this year.
This is a new question?
New question this year. Like, if there's someone who, at the end of the movie, is set up for greatness, who is it?
I mean, I guess Devin.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's pretty one-dimensional. It's definitely Devin. He's going to Yale, and he's,
I kind of want to say Mac, but...
Mac's keeping his options open, so we can't really say.
Well, no, he closed the options. That's another movie.
Woodison Award. Is there a character here you would have liked to see more of?
Yeah, Mr. Slowburn. I wanted Mr. Slowburn to be like Mr. Poopyhead in South Park.
Oh, God. Mr. Hanky.
And I don't know, I mean... I feel like your fan base might know, but I'm a big video game nerd. So if you ever play the Nintendo 64 South Park racing game, if you ever got the Mr. Poopy Head block, he just floats around you. I wanted Mr. Slowburn just to randomly float around the screen and pop up in random scenes.
Would you watch a Slowburn movie that was just Slowburn?
Maybe not a movie, but maybe an animated TV show, like a Netflix show. Yeah.
Long Dog Dong Award. Woo! So this is named after a stereotypical character in 16 Candles. Is there any character here or element that you would just take away from the film?
No, but I think you can substitute almost all the characters out with other, actors besides the main pieces.
Look, I wish... There are a lot of stereotypes here. You could probably take them all out, to be honest with you. I wish this movie was kinder to women so you could recommend it. Let's say you were with a group of friends right now, guys and girls. Maybe you're smoking a little weed, who knows? And you're like, let's watch this movie.
No, this is definitely more of a bros.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to watch this with any self-respecting feminist or person who's like, oh, whatever. Again, they might not.
I mean, if
you understand the era and what it is, you're probably not going to be offended.
If you could take a joke. I mean, the jokes could be a little harsh, but if you...
Yeah, but it's not great. It's not a good example of maybe what culture should be, but it is what it is. Again, I don't think anyone's complaining so much about this movie if it comes out in 1989. Not that the weed culture was like that then, but, there was movies where it's just let's peek at let's peek at this girl in this hole in the shower, that's not great either.
Yeah, but I think that's worse than this movie.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So if that could exist there, this should have a place, right? It's not as bad, but still.
To me, it's the heavy use of, the B word. Well,
As you said, they literally stop the entire movie, tell all the women to leave the room, and say you should leave your women who are complaining too much.
And do you know what that is? It's the controlling bitch alert. Attention, gentlemen. Please ask the ladies to give us a brief moment. We will only be a second, bitches. Thank you. Come on now. Come on, player. That go for your girl, too. Look at your girl sitting right there. Come on, man. Okay, they gone? Cool. Now look, this some serious shit, man. Devin is in some deep doodle. There's a huge population of controlling bitches on this earth, and they keep expanding. And you know what? It's our motherfucking fault. If you a nigga like that and you got a bitch like that, get the fuck out now. Either get them in line or kick them to the motherfucking curb. Amen. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. All right. All right, yeah. Ladies, y'all can come on back now.
And to me, like, they're trying to make a joke about it, but like I said, that word could, you know.
It's not a joke we make today anymore. All right. You alluded to this before. Cameron Fry Award. Famously, Cameron Fry in Ferris Bueller's Day Off was 30 when the film came out, playing a high schooler. He did a good job, though. But in this film, was there anyone too old to be a high schooler?
I think it should be like the opposite question.
Was there anyone who looked like a high schooler? Because everyone was too old.
I think honestly the one who looked the closest was Khalifa.
Yeah, you're right. He looked the closest. Everyone else, I think, was an adult and looked like an adult.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what's funny? So in these movies, even when they cast the adult characters, older characters, they usually cast the background characters to look a little bit younger.
Not in this. No.
Nah, not even close.
And you know what? I'm glad they didn't.
The background... Look, Snoop is like been there 15 years, and he's hitting on girls there. I'm glad
he has a varsity jacket. I feel like we should describe his varsity jacket for anyone who hasn't watched it. And I feel like probably most of the people haven't watched this. Normally, like, you know, like they'll put like the championship years, like if you want to...
I do like this. I do like this.
He has every year that he was in high school on the sides of his sleeves crossed out.
Yeah, which is funny. Look, it's funny. And the logo of the team that they have, by the way, it's called N-Hale High School.
Yeah. How did we not even bring that up? Yeah, N-Hale.
But that's the deepest part of this movie, because Nathan Hale, famous American spy who was hung, his famous quote, "I regret that I have only one life to live for my country." But that's not what it's about. It's Inhale High School, like to inhale. Also, some people were saying that like Nate Dogg, Snoop Dogg's cousin, his real name is Nate Hale, so it might be homage to him. Who knows? But come on, it's Inhale.
And well, plus this album has the song French Inhale on it, which is when that whole smoke scene.
Yeah,
and singing that, which is a good song. In the background, yeah. I love that song.
So you have that element as well. That's like one of the smarter things about the movie, N-Hale High School. But the logo of the school is like the Snoop Dogg is essentially one of his dog logos, and that's on the varsity jacket. Yeah. But like you said, all the years he's been there crossed out. I love it. It's great. The symbol of the varsity jackets is awesome. But you're right. No one looks like they're in high school in this movie. Wiz Khalifa's the closest, but once he turns into modern Wiz Khalifa, he looks less like that. He's a little convincing when it's like nerdy Wiz Khalifa, but he's not a great actor at it. So.
Before the tattoos.
Yes.
When they cover up all the tattoos, yes, he looks young.
All right, so grading this movie, a little tough. No critics have given an official score, so there's no critical score. 62% audience on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was surprised about, but then when I thought about it, the people watching probably wanted to watch it, This wasn't a widespread movie.
Yeah.
Letterboxd is something that we've been talking about this year, and Letterboxd is kind of, if you're a film nerd, that's where you grade your movies. Letterboxd is one of these sites where film nerds list every movie they've seen, and when they see a movie, they rate it right away,
Okay.
1.9 out of 5 there. The critics who did see it bashed the movie. They said, this is, ridiculous, it's crazy, but, it's not for them, it's not about them.
Exactly. I was going to say, does any of that surprise you?
No. But of course, Cousin Pumpkin on High School Slumber Party, we don't care about that. We have a report card. I'm handing you the manila report card right now. I'm giving you the red pen. A+ to F from Mac and Devin Go to High School to celebrate this 420 week. I don't know what it is, but that's when I decided I'm going to air this episode. So,
well, for me, if you listen to the instructions of the movie, and if you do it the right way, then I'll give it a B+. No, I take it back. I'll give it a B.
Solid B.
Yeah.
So I'll say, for me, if you don't read the instructions, you're just watching, probably like a D+, right?
Yeah.
But let's average that out.
That's low grades for us, too. I don't think I've given anything
maybe Big
less
Fat
than
Liar.
an A.
Big Fat Liar, you didn't give it an A.
Oh, I might have given that a C.
Yeah, that's fine. But look, I'm gonna average this to a C minus, like kind of in the middle, because again, probably if you're high, it's better. If you're not,
it's definitely 100%.
But I don't think anyone who's watched, like, literally, let me click this movie, except me, who's doing this for this project, is like, oh, okay, let me just watch this sober and take notes. Like, that's not that kind of movie.
Unless you're like a Wiz fan or just a Snoop Dogg fan.
True.
Who doesn't happen to really smoke weed.
But if you're a big fan of them, you probably enjoy this movie because it's about the music and all the music playing.
Yeah, but you only like it when the music comes on. Probably.
Fair. So kind of a mixed bag here, but if the movie's literally telling you to get high and watch it, and that's the only way you could watch it, then you can't really knock too much. I can't give this an F because they're telling you how to watch it.
Yeah, they're giving you a fair warning. There's a warning label on it.
Like
it's giving you straight instructions.
Like Slowburn said, it's like watching a 3D movie without 3D glasses.
Yes. Also, we never got to the most important trophy when I'm here. Pumpkin's Baddies.
Well, I was going to put it next. I put it in bold. All right, Pumpkin's Baddie of the Week. This is... What exactly is this award again?
I think just the most attractive person overall.
But now, right. Or this movie you could say then. But Big Fat Liar, you said
any of them after.
Most attractive person when they're of age. We'll put it that way.
It's just my definition of a baddie, whatever that is.
All right, so who is your baddie of the week?
Mine is clear and simple on this one. I'm going with the people that made this movie. I'm going with Miss Ward.
Hot-ass teacher, as she credited, Tierra Marie.
Yep.
Singer-songwriter, 33 years old.
They purposely put her in this role for a reason, and she was a baddie. And I'll just leave it at that.
She was very attractive. She was of age, like everyone else in this movie, so you're not being weird. She's mostly a musician. She has been in some movies. She was in that movie Lottery Ticket, which I didn't see.
I feel like the line for Pumpkin's Baddie should be, if we're doing a film where they're underage, then I could judge them what they are now.
Which you will, yes. You will do that. Oh, she's apparently one of the stars of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood reality show. So, if you're a Love and Hip Hop Hollywood fan...
Hey, Cardi B got her start on a Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that. Good to know.
And Cardi B's also a pumpkin baddie. Come on, she's Dominican. Gotta represent Uptown.
Definitely worthy of Pumpkin's Baddie of the Week. Okay, a couple more questions. Sleeping bag. You and I were having this slumber party together. We have our custom Mac and Devin go to high school sleeping bags. What do they look like?
Oh, I feel like you should already be able to guess mine.
I don't know. You tell me.
I want my sleeping bag to look just like Mr. Slowburn.
Oh, okay. I wasn't going to go there. But yeah, I should have, because he's your friend.
Well, he's my favorite character in that movie.
I'm going to do Mac's varsity jacket, right? I want all the years crossed out like that.
I like that. I
think that would look cool. All right. I hope you put your... hope you have your weed thinking cap on. Because next question...
Your joints down, your blunts down.
This is my favorite question every week. You and I, we're having this slumber party, and we're at this Blockbuster. This Blockbuster that exists.
I didn't even think about this going into here.
Space and time, with every movie to ever exist in the history of movies up until this day. You know, we're in line. We get close to that counter. We see a sign that says rent 2 movies, get 1 free. We're like, shit, we're going to do a full slumber party today. We know we're renting Mac and Devin go to high school. But I said, Cousin Pumpkin, go to the back. I'll keep our place in line. Get me 2 movies that are going to complement this film that we can rent together with this. What else are we watching?
I should have thought about this too beforehand. I haven't seen this movie in forever. But I would like to... I want to rewatch Dazed and Confused again, so I'm going to throw that in there.
Not going to say no to that. One of the high school slumber party classics.
You know, and they got to keep it on at least the psychedelic level if we're talking about this movie. We were talking about a bunch of weed movies before, in the beginning of this. The second one, I guess either Pineapple Express or Superbad. I mean, Superbad's not really a weed movie, but
But it's a great high school movie.
I feel like it's in there.
So pick Superbad because it's a high school movie.
Yeah, we'll go with Superbad then.
Nice, love it. Great picks there. By the way, I showed you the trailer like a couple months ago. Watch Everybody Wants Some. Joey Lewandowski, the Godfather himself, has recommended that to me. Essentially, it's Dazed and Confused about college baseball.
Oh, so, yes. I need to watch that. You did show me that.
You gotta watch that movie. All right, so that's our episode on Mac and Devin Go to High School. Look, was it my favorite movie? No, but it was really fun to talk about. And I knew it was going to be fun to talk about. So thank you for stopping by today and talking about Mac and Devin Go to High School. Anything you want to plug, talk about, or send people home with?
No, but I will say this. If you are a weed smoker, this is a cool movie to throw on with a bunch of weed smoker friends. If you guys just hanging out, smoking together, and don't got nothing else to do. There's some funny parts in here.
It's funny because this wasn't released in theaters, as we said, but this would have been terrible in theaters.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Can't smoke there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This would have been awful in theaters. This would have. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, and even in the streaming revolution, there's a reason this movie's on Netflix, and people probably watch it for that reason. So
yeah.
It is what it is, but appreciate you coming on for it. Thank you for putting it on my radar, and thank you for doing it.
Oh, you know what? Wait, can I take one of my... How can I not throw... What's the I go back on my blockbusters because you have to have Half Baked in there with this movie.
What are you taking away?
I'm gonna take away Superbad. Definitely, because if you like Half Baked, you probably will somewhat at least you'll enjoy this movie.
Half Baked is a stoner comedy I really, really enjoy. So I can't.
You don't second that notion?
No.
If you're talking about stoner comedies, you have to have Half Baked in there.
I agree. I love Half Baked. I think Half Baked's a great movie.
Yeah, but Half Baked's way better if you're actually baked.
I was gonna say, maybe it is, but it's still good if you're not. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it's Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's just great.
All right, so backtrack. Half Baked. What was the other one you said? Dazed and Confused. This movie sounds good to me. Cousin Pumpkin, thank you as always, and we have a lot of movies on High School Slumber Party we're going to cover. We got a lot of projects, and we'll have you on again soon. I tell you, 200 episodes in, almost every episode surprises me. That was a blast, though, to talk Mac and Devin Go to High School. Again, it's not the best movie in the world. It's not the most appropriate movie in the world. But so what? No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to go into the song again. I want to sing, but I'm not going to sing. Big thank you to Cousin Pumpkin for coming on with us and talking this film. I just want to go back to one thing I said. This movie really needs to be viewed in the prism as a music movie. Music first, movie second. There are a lot of music movies like this. There's a lot of corny, cheesy music movies like this. And at least this had an awareness of what it is. So... I don't know. If you're a fan of Mac and Devin Go to High School, I hope I didn't disappoint you or something. But either way, happy to watch it. Woo! We have homework for Monday, though, and I'm really, really excited to drop this homework because I feel like it's been a while. I've wanted to talk to these two. I've wanted to talk this subject. Kate Hudson will be here Monday. Joe, too, will be here. And we will be talking the second in the Twilight franchise. So, second Lifetime, second film, New Moon.
The Volturi are the closest thing my world has to royalty. They enforce the law.
Vampires have laws?
You're a human who knows entirely too much about us. They could kill us all.
You just don't belong in my world, Bella.
I belong with you.
This is the last time you'll ever see me. Please just promise me you won't do anything reckless.
It's like a huge hole has been punched through my chest.
I know what he did to you, but Bella, I would never, ever do that.
There's only one way I know to see him.
So, you're an adrenaline junkie now?
What the hell?
thinking? Bella, it's Edward. He thinks you're dead.
What?
He's going to the Volturi. He wants to die too.
He left you, Bella. He didn't want you anymore.
I have to go.
He's gonna make a scene. The Volturi will kill him if he reveals himself in the sunlight.
No, Edward, don't!
I'm scared.
This may hurt just a little.
No, please, please!
So if you're just coming on to this episode, you're just turned on to this show because of Mac and Devin Go to High School, and you're listening now and you're like, wait, he does Twilight movies? What kind of podcast is this? The answer is, well, one, it's my podcast, Mind Your Own Business. Two, and I'm kidding, but two, we go everywhere. We go all kinds of high school movies. We actually talked Twilight all last year, all the movies with just Kate Hudson. She's a Twilight expert. She's hilarious. I love Kate Hudson. But we decided this year to bring another person on. We brought Joe 2 on from the Too Fast, Too Forever podcast. He does those Fast and Furious movies. There are a lot more similarities in the Twilight universe and the Too Fast universe than you would think. I'll just leave it there. You know what? Why don't you listen? You know what? You have to listen. It's your homework. Watch Twilight, New Moon. I always forget the names. Sorry. Watch Twilight, New Moon. Listen to our episode on Monday. It's going to be great. We're going to do some eBay purchases. We're going to play some games. And we're going to talk one of the weirdest films in the world, but one of the most beloved films in the world. That's Twilight, New Moon. And if you got a problem with that, hit me up on social media. Class participation is a huge part of your grade anyway. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Speaking of Instagram, little secret, I started a new history Instagram, a kind of comedy history meme Instagram. It is called History Hobo. That's all I'm going to say about that. Follow History Hobo on Instagram. Oh, and again, apologies if you can hear them drilling in the background. They're refacing the brick on my building. It's impossible to get away from the sound. They start early in the morning and they end at night, and it is driving me crazy. So if you do hear it in the background, I do apologize. I think that's all the time we have today. Hope you enjoyed this interesting episode. And like I said, music movie, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg, I give them all the props, all the love. So we're going to take it out with one of their songs from this very soundtrack. It's called Talent Show. Remember, guys, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop to look around once in a while, you could miss it. I stopped to look around on Monday for episode 200. I'm so excited for the next 200. Later, dudes.
I've been trying to develop an alternative fuel from a mix of all natural substances, but the mix was highly volatile until we found a catalyst to help stabilize the compound and supercharge the fuel.
I'm sorry, what was this magical catalyst?
Marijuana, motherfucker. Ladies and gentlemen, players and playettes, teachers, staff, and students, I am very honored to welcome you to the high school annual talent show. Brought to you by the makers of Wiz Khalifa Premium Rolling Papers and the qualified growers of Snoop Dogg Master Kush. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. First contestant, bring your talent to the foreground and let your smoke be your background.
I'm going to smoke out. I buy it, don't even know the price. I smoke 'cause I live it. Give me a visit, and I'll be somewhere up in the sky. My heat is about to go down. We fly, it's no lie that we hot till we die. Get up in his homes out. Growing up, clean a rag, case the one jump inside.
Got a joint filled with quality shit. My bottom bitch smoking with me, niggas talk shit. All of them shrimp. I'm a big fish. Roll a joint, lick it once, tell you hit this. Rubies on my dick, several cushions on my hit list. In and out these niggas, bitches smoking tree and not to mention hustling, trying to mind my business. You probably went to class while I was in the hallway skipping. Yeah, I hear what they saying, just be too high to list. Found my money tripping.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.